Heroscape here today, coming at you with update number 18. Here we are, another beginning of the week with more concept art to review. So today is going to be uncharted territory. We've got some new designs that's going to open up, again, lots of theory and lots of opportunity to just see some crazy, unique stuff. So here we go. The Clockwork Combine, once a peace-loving and pacifist society of farmers and artists from the planet Noxdorma. Okay, so new planet there. The various creatures of the Clockwork Combine have been forced to learn to make war on a previously unimaginable scale, or face their complete extinction at the hands of their enemies. In their desperation and with an utter determination to survive, the Combine's artificers, engineers, and scientists developed amazing new technologies and fastic flying machines of wonder to create havoc on the battlefields of their home planet and allow them the tactical flexibility to move their best troops to exactly the right place at the right moment. With the help of their advanced technology and limitless ingenuity, the Combine is now capable of lightning-quick troop redeployment, aggressive aerial insertions, and even equipment repairs in the very heat of battle. Well, that is very interesting. Let's come back to that in just a moment. Here is the art, and the Clockwork Combine, first impression was, I was thinking Redwall. For those of you not familiar with Redwall, it's basically just, a fantasy series centered around animals, instead of like people. There's the different races of animals that, have conflicts and castles and, lands and all kinds of fun stuff. I mean, it's just, a good series. There's tons of different books. So that was the first impression here. So, this is a little bit more steampunky with mechanics and technology, right? But I can imagine that they might have some heroes eventually with some, big old swords, right? Badgers with two-handed swords and all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, initially looking at the art, the art is really good. They are consistent in the intricacies of the detail. He's got a mechanical arm there. This guy, remember, he's got a mechanical leg. I will say this, is my first impression is I'm not as crazy about it as other ones. I will say that. But that's just personal preference. Like, I like the animals. I'm not sure I like as much the steampunk version of these animals. Like, I liked the look of the other units we saw that were futuristic. This, I'm not sure yet. So that's my first impression. That said, there's plenty of units that I've loved that, there's plenty of units that I haven't loved that I've come to love later based on their gameplay, and I do want to talk about that. So there's, so these are pretty cool. One thing I did want to point out is I think this is going to be a squad here. Not all of these units. I think there's a couple heroes. For example, if you look at their hats, you'll notice a lot of bowlers and top hats, which I think is an indication of, kind of their generic unit, or no hat at all, unlike a guy like that. Whereas if you notice here, that's like a uniformed hat, right? Additionally, there's this guy. See how that's a uniformed hat? And then I think this guy over here, this guy up here is a uniformed hat. So I think that those are potentially the heroes here. So what is that? 1, 2, 3. And then we've got a few other designs with bowler hats and top hats and non-hats that I think will make up potentially a squad of 4. Common squad, hopefully not just unique squads. I could see this being a very spammy faction, with lots of, maybe 2, kind of like the Morrows have multiple different common squads. I could see this faction having multiple different common squads. And I think that's because of what we know about them in the lore. So if we go back here, well, first off, it's just cool that they mention artificers, engineers, and scientists. So that means we're going to get some really cool stuff. Fantastic flying machines, right? That's awesome. I think we're going to get to see some really cool stuff there, especially if that's like a focus of how they deploy their units. But speaking of deployment, it mentions here that they're capable of lightning-quick troop redeployment, aggressive aerial insertions, right? So troop redeployment is such an important part of the game. And in fact, that's one of the things that I love about units like the Death Chasers, is that you can deploy them, before the game even starts, basically into the middle of the map. And then the front line, you can replace your units and you can just continue to attack, 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 attack. And so even though I might not be crazy about, the art and the steampunkiness of these units, it sounds like the abilities are going to be very right here, tactical flexibility, or lightning quick troop redeployment, aggressive aerial insertions. And so, like, to me, what that means is they potentially have some sort of flying machines that allow multiple units to be carried and then deployed after movement, right? So maybe it's a destructible object that activates if they have a nearby unit, and then it allows that unit to have flying for a turn or something, and in the meantime it can also carry up to 2 additional units or something. Like, I could totally see that, where it's some sort of object, like destructible object, that's being used to deploy units into the map at a much faster pace than usual. And then aggressive, and then at the end here it says equipment repairs in the very heat of battle. To me, obviously that could be the machines, but I actually think that's going to be repairs to themselves. See how he's got a bionic leg, and then we noticed a bionic arm here and another bionic arm here. I don't know if it's going to be a common squad ability, but I think they're going to have the ability to repair themselves, not necessarily just the machines they use. Which I think would be super cool. It's like maybe you have some sort of redundancy marker, or some sort of, kind of like an exoskeleton marker, where maybe instead of losing a life, maybe they lose an ability or they lose a stat, like maybe their defense or attack goes down. And so that represents like their machine or their mechanics have been, destroyed or broken or damaged. And so maybe they have the ability to repair each other in order to fix themselves or something like that. So anyway, a lot to think about there. It's a new world, right? It's a new type of faction. I don't really know what their species would be, right? Because you obviously have multiple species of animal, right? Beaver, what was that, otter or weasel or something. That kind of looks like maybe a badger. I don't know. Yeah, and then looks like, what is that, like a fat rabbit or something? Kind of a rabbit, right? Yeah, like a fat rabbit. Mouse, I guess. Yeah, mouse with the huge ears. Yeah. Or Wolverine, I bet. Or maybe there's Wolverine over here. Maybe that's a Wolverine. That kind of looks like, actually, I don't really know. Maybe another mouse. I'm not super familiar with all the different animals. Maybe that's a fox? I don't know. I really don't know. So anyway, your guesses are as good as mine, so feel free to share your thoughts and ideas. I'm just kind of spitballing here. But yeah, anyway, so that's the Clockwork Combine. I like the sound of it, and I like the gameplay aspects from what it sounds like. So while just like in Classicscape, there are some units that I don't like as much of the other units, I think I could say the same here. The concept art's still really cool. The gameplay sounds really cool for these, so I'm excited about that. But you can't love everything, and so initially I'm excited because it's new. It's an opportunity for some really cool gameplay. So flying machines and redeployments and lightning fast, insertions. It's saying so. There's a lot of cool stuff we can do with that, which is great. When it comes to the mini concept art, again, not as crazy about it, but I think that can change, right? There's tons of units in Heroscape where I've collected them over the years and never really played with them much, but then as I see other people play them and play them well, then I get more excited about it. And honestly, so many of the units that I've come to love have been that way. I've had to to lose to people using Gorillinators to gain an appreciation for them, right? I had to lose early on. I had to lose to someone using Death Reavers because I thought they were horrible, right? Back, this is years and years ago, right? I was like, oh, one attack, those don't do anything. And then you watch someone play them well and use them the way they're supposed to be used, and you say, oh, that's actually pretty cool. And so those units gain a better appreciation, and then you start to have more fun playing them. So I kind of get the feeling here is like initially I'm like, all right, you know, the miniatures are not necessarily up my alley. You know, I do like the Redwall aspect of it. So if they can get some more fantasy units with a big old two-handed sword, some Badger, you know, swinging in, right, from Redwall, or, you know, if they go that route a little bit, I think I get pretty excited. But, you know, again, I think this one will be one of those where I buy it, have to play with it to kind of get a feel for it. Where some of the other ones, just out of the sheer look of the mini, I'm just like, oh, I'm buying it. It's going to be awesome, you know. But sometimes even the awesome ones, like Subakna, for example. Subakna is one of the coolest miniatures out there. Looks so BA. And then he just kind of dies. You know, 7 attack, 6 move. And then he just kind of dies in like 2 attacks, right? 5 life, 3 defense is just so squishy. And so, you know, it's just one of those things, right? Some units look amazing, you know, they don't end up being as exciting as we thought. Some maybe don't look as exciting as we thought, and then the gameplay is so awesome that we just love them. And so I kind of get that feeling about this one. But yeah, honest review there. Not gonna gloss over it and say every single design is the most amazing thing ever. This one's probably a little bit lower on my list of excitement, but that said, I'm just excited Heroscape's back, you guys. And so the fact that we're getting new content on these new designs from new worlds and all kinds of different cool stuff is just great. So anyway, take that for what it is. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time.